All right. Well, hey, speaking of House of the Dragons, let's dive into our Maester study today. So we've done Viserys Part 1 and Part 2. So now we're coming back with Viserys Targaryen Part 3 as we continue to kind of march through Fire and Blood / World of Ice and Fire and get ready for House of the Dragon. Last time it seems like maybe him and Daemon had kind of made up just a little bit, right? We keep having that back and forth, and now we're getting into his final years.
Yeah, so into Viserys' final, like the end of his life here, we're going to enter into the year 120 AC, which is sort of known as the year of the Red Spring, due to many deaths and accidents. I would just say deaths. I would put accidents in air quotes, right? Because some of these things seem like they're not accidents. They're meant to be, or they're meant to seem like that. But, like, we got some people assassinating and killing and paying. I think money is exchanged here for some of these deaths. So, I don't know. I think that's going to be really interesting to see in a season 1 or maybe a season 1. If we're going to see some of the groundwork laid for this. Viserys' cast. So I bet you had said last time we think we're going to see him at the end of his life. We're going to probably pick up with his late reign and understand what's going on. It's interesting that, so we have around 120 AC. He's got his kids. He's got Helena. He's got, who else does he have? He's got his grandchildren. They're all playing together around him and stuff. And he's got his new queen, Queen Alicent. And Rhaenyra, though, is still the heir. She's still the heir. I don't know if we touched on this last time or not, but I think we did. So Prince Daemon ends up marrying Laena Velaryon. I kind of wanted to mention that House Velaryon is the house that almost kind of gets screwed in a sense. Like they're legitimately like Corlys Velaryon has got to be like, wow, he keeps trying to put his family in a position of power and better his family, and they keep kind of getting, I don't know, pushed down, or taken down a notch or two. And it happens when they're overlooked in the Council of 101 AC. It happens here when Daemon pretty much, Rhaenyra, when she's married to Laenor Velaryon, supposedly those are not even House Velaryon children. They're bastard children. Harwin Strong is actually the guy who Rhaenyra was with. And that really none of those children actually belong to House Velaryon. Now, in name, they do, right? I mean, they're Corlys's grandchildren as well, but are they really, is the whole thing. And they all end up, and this is to jump way ahead, they all end up dying anyway, so it's just kind of nuts. And then, and we can get into speculation on whether Daemon has something to do with that, or Daemon is just, he's after Rhaenyra. So late in Viserys' reign, King Viserys, late in his reign, Rhaenyra loses her husband. Daemon loses his wife. Both of them are children of Corlys Velaryon. And essentially, in secret, they marry. They marry in secret. And you can kind of see how, I think Laenor Velaryon's, Laena Velaryon, who was married to Daemon, I think her death was possibly natural. I think that was, she died. And I don't think there's any I don't know what's the word. I don't know that Daemon had anything to do with that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, malicious intent or anything like that.
Yeah. Now, once he is, now he's back. I mean, he's single. He is now able to pursue Rhaenyra, and he does by removing Laenor Velaryon. And he pays. I'm pretty sure it's implied in Fire and Blood that he pays Sir Carl Corey to go fight him. That they have there's a fight between what was his rumored companion and lover. So that's the other big deal, is that Laenor Velaryon is not interested in sleeping in Rhaenyra's bed, right? And that he prefers the company of someone like Sir Carl Corey. So makes sense as to why those rumors, it kind of adds to that rumor that she was sleeping with Harwin Strong, and that those children are actually his, that they belong to House Strong, they're bastard children. So Daemon then will kind of set up Sir Carl Corey to take out Laenor Velaryon. He's killed. And then those two marry in secret. Ultimately, what happens is Daemon will end up marrying Rhaenyra Targaryen, and this is what he's wanted for quite some time. She's the heir, right? So she's going to step up, and so he's either number 1 or number 2 in power, whatever you want to call it. Like, he's brother to the king. He's married his niece, and now they're going to take the throne when Viserys dies. And he has now children through Rhaenyra, legitimate Targaryen children. So that's kind of where we're left. Let me go down here. So we started off in 120 AC, and those events, everything I kind of described there, will take place over the next 7 years. You do have a situation where the children fight, right? So you have Queen Alicent's children will fight with Rhaenyra's children, and somebody loses an eye. Aemon loses a freaking eye.
Yeah.
And Luke and Jace are like fending off. These are little kids, right? They're fighting, but like it's not just it's not just little kids fighting. Like, somebody lost a freaking eye here, So it's pretty intense. Viserys kind of says, hey, make your apologies, set this straight. They do. The only person who really believes it is the person who wanted to believe it, which is King Viserys. He believes, all right, cool. My grandkids are now at peace. They've all sworn to me that they're going to stop this fighting, and we're good. And then he says, and by the way, anybody who calls, my grandchildren bastards and says that they're from House Strong is going to lose their tongue, right? He says he makes that decree. That's what he's saying. So that's the big, from 120 AC to 127 AC. That's essentially what happens. And then after that, we have roundabout 129 AC is when Viserys is, it's when he dies, right? He dies during a nap in the Red Keep at King's Landing. Like his grandfather, King Viserys had a full treasury overflowing with gold on his passing. Viserys had decreed his heir to be Rhaenyra, the daughter from his first wife, Aemma Arryn. Aegon the Elder, the eldest son of his second wife, Alicent, was instead crowned Aegon II by Sir Criston Cole, the Lord Commander of the Kingsguard. This led to the civil war between Rhaenyra and Aegon II in what is known as the Dance of the Dragons.
Yeah, all hell breaks loose. Yeah.
That was not supposed to happen. So Sir Criston Cole is to blame for all this, right? I mean, geez, cow, man.
He is literally to blame. Yeah, I mean, I think when we get to the show, I think maybe this is the end of season 1 with Viserys. I mean, do you speed through stuff? I think maybe you do season 2, because I think there's just a lot of story to tell between Viserys and Daemon to set this up. And then the end of season 2 is when he dies, and now it's like all hell's about to break loose.
Yeah, I kind of think so. I would like to see a couple seasons with, really set the stage. I mean, we have to get to know these characters. What Game of Thrones did well is we got to know House Stark, and we loved them. We loved the Stark children. We saw them kind of grow up. And when you know that there are seasons upon seasons, you don't have to jump us. You've got to set this up. And so I really hope that they spend some good quality time with King Viserys and show us a lot of what happens between him and Daemon. Like, I kind of feel like those should be the two main characters. Cast someone for Rhaenyra and Alicent, knowing that they need to grow and that they're going to grow into these individuals that we're going to have to. And actually with Rhaenyra, depending on how early you start with Viserys, you could actually cast a younger Rhaenyra and show her kind of grow up, and whether it's just 1 or 2 seasons, but by the end of season 1, she has grown up like a little bit, and you can see Daemon kind of doting on her and teaching her things he's not supposed to teach her, whatever you want to do there, because he does that. I mean, he gets exiled for some of the stuff that he does with Rhaenyra, so he's always had an interest in her. And it'll be interesting to see how Daemon, whether he's authentic in any of his love for any of these women, you know what I mean? He's a ruthless. This is going to be kind of I don't know how they're gonna do this, because he's not a good guy. I kind of feel like people are going to be rooting for the Greens. Mm-hmm. I kind of feel like in this whole grand scheme of things, people are going to be rooting for the Greens over the Blacks in this, because Daemon is a ruthless dude. So, but I don't know. We look what happened. We always say this. We go back to Jaime Lannister. Hated that guy, right? At the start, I was like, this guy is a freaking what the heck. And then his attack on Eddard Stark, and then by the end, I'm sitting here going, I'm Team Jaime. Like what? So they could do that with Daemon, and I hope they do. So
Yeah, I think there's story there to tell. Like there's story there to tell, and I think if you're hoping that this, I think obviously HBO, AT&T, ultimately hopes that this is gonna be as big as Game of Thrones.
Yes,
that's their hope. This is the next Game of Thrones, right? Their HBO Max is it's their baby, and they're pushing it hard. So I think that they're going to be hoping that this is big, and so if that's your hope, I think your hope is 8 seasons. And once you get past Viserys' death, it's like, man, I don't know that you could fill out. I don't know that the full Dance of Dragons is.
Yeah,
it's
right now,
the nice thing is that you could theoretically go on. I mean, this could theoretically, just because you called it House of the Dragon.
That's right.
Not that it's going to, but theoretically, it could be 20 seasons, and you could go right into the Blackfire Rebellion, all the way up into Robert's Rebellion. I mean, theoretically, you could. I mean,
no, you could.
Not saying that's going to happen, but I mean, you never know. I mean, I don't think most. Look at a show like Supernatural. Do you think they thought it was going to be 15 seasons?
No.
Some of these shows, you're just like, how is that show still on? Right?
Still
and you're
on,
like, and it's so you never know.
Well, can I say real quick, one of the problems I think people were talking about with Game of Thrones is, wanting to go those 2 extra seasons to season 10 was contracts, movie, these actors had grown up and they wanted to do different things and whatever. Well, in this, you can run an 8 seasons and say, guess what? Now we're going to do a little time jump. We have a couple of these Targaryen kings who, according to the text, don't live very long or have insignificant reigns. And then you jump down to Aegon IV or something. And from there, you start a whole new thing. It's almost like volume 2 of this House of the Dragon. New cast. So then those other cast members, like, actors can go on to different things. They're not tied into a 20, season thing or whatever. So you're right. There's potential for it all. Yeah.
Yeah, so that's really cool, guys. So hey, let us know what you guys think as we continue our march here through House of the Dragon and getting ready for the upcoming HBO show that we're gonna get.